Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited to film this video because I feel like it's one that a lot of you will find useful because I've had a lot of questions on this topic before. So today's video is going to be all about the application process of my job at Google. So I'm going to be talking about how I found the job, how I found the application process, and then I'm going to talk about what tips I'd give to any of you who are applying for apprenticeships or jobs of the similar sort. So I started looking for apprenticeships because back in year 13, around the time that the school encourages you to apply to UCAS, to start looking at universities and going to open days and things like that, that's when I sort of started looking at apprenticeships as well, because after going to a few open days, don't get me wrong, I was very excited about university, but I wasn't quite motivated. There was something missing. So my school talked a few times about alternatives like apprenticeships, but I never really considered myself suitable for an apprenticeship. But I started looking anyway, but I found that there was none really in my area that I was interested in. All the big businesses like BBC, IBM, that sounded really good, I'd already missed the deadline for. This was probably around November time, probably. Maybe a little bit. It was the same time that we started applying to UCAS. So that I kind of just written that off. I gave up after that. I thought, oh, clearly there's none left. It's not for me. I'll just go to university. I'm applying anyway, so I'll just do that. And then after probably around December, January time, after I'd already sent off my UCAS application, I still felt something wasn't right. And something wasn't sitting well with me, and the fact that it kept playing in my mind made me look just again for apprenticeships. So I went searching again and I came across the website notgoingtouni.com. I'm going to link all the websites and stuff that I mention all in the description below, so that if you are looking for apprenticeships you can find them easily down there. But I found mine on Not Going to Uni, and this Google one came up and I thought, oh my god, that sounds amazing. I got quite excited about it, and then after I read through it I kind of wrote it off straight away, I'm not going to lie. I thought, oh, it's based in London, I don't live in London, I can't do that. It's Google, they're a massive company, I'll have no chance. And I thought, level 3, that's not a degree apprenticeship, what's the point in doing it? So I kind of had a pretty negative outlook on it when I first saw it, but I showed it to my mum anyway because it was really interesting. It was something to do with Google. I said, oh, I'm not going to do it, but look at this. So I kind of went with that mindset. I'm not going to apply, but have a look. She said to me, why aren't you going to apply? And I explained, oh, well, it's in London, I can't do that. She said, what means you can't move to London or commute to London every day? Why are you writing it off just because of that? And I sat there and I thought, yeah, actually, why is that stopping me? One thing I do want to say, don't let things like that stop you, because I'm literally moving to London in less than 2 weeks today. So everything is possible. You'll work it out. Just apply to everything. That's really what I want to stress in this video. I didn't think I was good enough to apply to this apprenticeship, and I've got it, which is still crazy to say. But I just want to say to you, what are you losing by applying? After showing my mum, I took it into my business teacher, who had already helped me previously with all my uni applications, and she was just a person I trusted anyway. So I went to her for a bit of advice. I remember walking into her office and saying, I don't know if this is stupid or I'm being too ambitious, but can you just have a look at this? That's all I said. I'm not going to apply to it, just have a look, what do you think? And she literally thought I was stupid that I was not going to apply to it. So she just said, what have you got to lose? Apply anyway, I'll help you. Yeah, she was a really big help in that process. And then when I actually got round to applying to it, the website that I went back onto redirected me to a different website called White Hat, who has a lot of association with this apprenticeship. So through there I registered my interest, and then I'd probably say maybe a few days later, I think I got a phone call from them, and they asked me questions just about my situation, why I wanted to do the apprenticeship, where I lived, things like that. And then it kind of turned into like a phone interview, which I really wasn't prepared for. I was literally sat in bed and I was like, oh my god, I'm not prepared for this, I haven't thought about anything. So they were asking me questions about digital marketing, did I know what SEO meant, things like that. And then they asked me, if you wanted to find out how many videos were on YouTube, how would you do it? I literally felt so stupid, but I just said I'd Google it. So yeah, so it was just like that really. But clearly my answers were all pretty reasonable, because at the end of the phone call they invited me in for a day with them in London at their offices. I didn't really know what to expect for this, but I just said, yeah, sure, that's fine, agreed to it. So that was kind of the first stage. Fast forward to the day that I actually went to their offices in London. Basically what it was, there was about 10 of us probably, not all applying for Google, but they were all applying for digital marketing apprenticeships. God, that's a bit of a mouthful. Digital marketing apprenticeships. And what we had to do was just build on our profile. We had to make a short video explaining kind of just who we are and what we do, what we're interested in. And then I had a one-to-one meeting with a talent manager. She was really, really lovely, really supportive. She gave me links to digital marketing terminology that would be good to learn. And then also she told me about this Google Garage course to complete, just to put on my CV, so because you get a qualification at the end of that. So yeah, they were really helpful. I think that day was to just kind of for them to suss out if you were right and suitable for the role. Then after that, probably a couple weeks later, I got an email with a task that had a few questions about digital marketing on it. I had a week to complete it, I think, and then there was a pass or fail rate. So when I looked at the questions on this, I'm not gonna lie, I was like baffled. I was really confused. I was like, oh my god, I know none of this. It was quite overwhelming. If someone gave it to me now, I could probably do it because of just like all the knowledge that I've built on, but at the time I just remember thinking, oh my god, I had no idea. So I had to use my initiative for all that, and then I just went on and researched everything. It was quite time consuming, and I'm not gonna lie, I did get quite frustrated, but I completed it and I managed to pass it. I just want to mention the mindset that I went through all of this. I told myself to kind of expect the worst, not in a negative way, but don't expect to get the job, pretty much. I just wanted to go into every stage with the mindset that everything's an opportunity to learn something. So going into the white hat offices or even having the telephone interview was just experience. So if I had another telephone interview in the future, I'd be less nervous. I'd kind of know how to hold myself, things like that. So everything throughout this experience, even if I didn't get the job in the end, I told myself, you've got to appreciate it because it's still an opportunity. So after passing that task, White Hat were then happy to send off my profile to Google, and that's when they decide a short list of people of who they wanted to invite into the interviews. So I think I waited a couple of weeks to hear back, and then I actually found out I got an interview. So I was just absolutely buzzing at this point. I didn't even think I'd get an interview, to be honest. At this point I was happy anyway. I'd like peaked pretty much. Well, I thought I had. I thought, okay, just be happy you've got the interview. Before the interview, the talent manager that I met in London, we had a group FaceTime call with a few other potential apprentices that were going to be interviewed, and she really helped us prepare for the interview. And the company that she was from, White Hat, they were really, really helpful throughout this whole process. I think, like, in my personal opinion, they're a great company, and it was great going to their offices as well because I'm pretty sure they're a new company, like they've only been running a couple of years, so seeing like the culture of a startup kind of business and the environment that they work in, their offices were really cool. So, and all the people were lovely, they were dead young, it was really like innovative. Nothing that I've seen here in where I'm from, Leicester. So yeah, it was a really good opportunity. So she helped us just kind of, she went through the schedule of the day, what possible questions they'd ask us, and then how best we should answer them. And then that was our opportunity to ask her any questions we had. I felt like that really helped. And the way they did the assessment days, there was 30 people that got shortlisted, and we got split in half. So there was 15 on one day and then 15 on another day. I went on the first day, and I think I'm just going to tell you how the day was chronologically. Where the interview was is where I'm going to be based now, in London, so the offices that I'll be working in. So I remember the first time walking in there, it was just this like massive contemporary building. The reception I had to sign in, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually here. Like the lifts were like cool lifts, like everything was pretty cool. We started off by introducing ourselves, telling our name, our age, and then they asked us to say a fun fact about ourselves, which I always hate doing. I've had to do it quite a lot recently though, so I'm getting used to it. But you can imagine at the time, like, this is the biggest interview I've ever had in my life. And then I was sat here around all these amazing people that were being interviewed as well, all of different ages. I was one of the youngest there. And everyone's reeling off these fun facts, like, I've got a YouTube channel, obviously at the time I didn't have one. Or like, I've been part of this startup business, and I was thinking, oh my god, I've done nothing like this. It was really nerve-wracking, I felt really vulnerable. But I was just, obviously myself, just tried my best to like sound as amazing as I could. They split us off into groups of about like 3 and 4 people, and then we all like rotated tasks throughout the day. What my group did first was we got a chance to talk to the current apprentices that are there now, like started the year before us. We got to ask them questions. They told us a few things about the job, what to expect as in terms of like workload, what it's like transitioning from A-levels to a job, all interested in stuff like that. And then we actually got a tour of the offices as well, which, like, believe me, they are insane. I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but if you've ever watched the film The Internship, it's that kind of vibes, and that's where I'm going to be working. So it's actually crazy to think at that time when I was getting the tour I didn't even know if I was working there or not. So we did that. That was really fun. And then next we had our one-to-one interviews with potential line managers or just like employees from Google. So this interview was more about the products of Google and my knowledge of digital marketing. The guy that interviewed me was really, really lovely. Everyone seemed really nice there, by the way. Everyone was like so nice. It wasn't scary at all. As soon as you like got used to the environment and stuff, it was really relaxing. But my first interview I obviously was a bit nervous, so I didn't think it went quite as well as my second one, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But yeah, the guy was really nice. It probably lasted like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. After that we had lunch, and then that was a good opportunity to network and socialise with everyone. It was really nice to meet like-minded people. And there were some amazing employees at Google that had some really cool stories. So that was a lot of fun. And then after lunch, I had my second one-on-one interview. This was with a woman this time, and the questions were more based on situations. So how would you deal with this situation and why? Just testing like your logic, the way you think, how you act within groups and stuff like that. So, and I had a really, really nice chat with her as well. She was really interested in what was on my CV. It gave me a chance to talk about me and my experiences, so that was a really good experience as well. The final task was giving me like apprentice vibes. Our whole group got put in this boardroom, so there was 3 of us, and then there was about 4 Google employees just sat watching and like taking notes and observing how we worked. So I was so scared about this. I thought, oh my god, it's going to be so nerve-wracking. They're sat there and it's just lots of pressure to perform well. We got given this brief about a Mini, and it was like pretend, obviously. They were creating a new eco-friendly Mini. I think it was like an electric Mini. We got given 4 questions that related to the brief, and we had to answer all of them and then put all of our answers onto a slideshow, like presentation. I think we had about 30 to 45 minutes to do all of that, and then we had to present it at the end. And I was so scared about presenting it. Oh my god, you don't understand. But something that I found out about myself during the day was that I really enjoyed speaking in front of people. Again, if you're going into a situation like this, if you've got an interview or anything, go with an open mind and be willing to learn things about yourself. I came away from that day feeling like I'd learned a lot about myself, not even just about Google or about interviews, like a lot about myself and my skills. And I came away feeling a lot more confident in myself, so definitely take it as an opportunity if you're in the same sort of situation. So yeah, that was the end of that day, and then it probably took about a month for me to hear back whether I got the job or not, and that was through an email. A few people apparently got phone calls like 2 weeks after, and then I got an email, so I don't know how they did that, but yeah, so that was how I got the job pretty much. I want to talk about my advice to you because I think that's really important, because when I was completing this process of applying, I felt that there was a huge lack in information or just support about these kind of things. Like, there was no videos on YouTube or anything, and I would have loved to have had something like this before I started. So the advice that I'd probably give to you is to go in with an open mind, be prepared to just learn from the experience and don't expect to get the job. So if you're in year 13 now, my advice to you would be to look straight away. Like, look right now if you want to do an apprenticeship. Even if you don't want to do it, maybe just apply for like a backup if you're not sure about uni. I'm going to link all the websites, like I said, below, so if you do want to have a look at that, then you can go down below and I'll link them for you. I felt like I missed out on a lot of opportunities like the BBC and IBM because they release all theirs kind of like September, October time. But if you do miss the deadline, say if you're watching this after a few months down the line after I've posted this video, don't panic, because companies vary when they release their apprenticeships, so I wouldn't worry too much. And there's often a really like high age restriction. I think it was 18 to 23 years old, so even if you want to take a year out, or if you're older watching this video, it's not too late to apply for an apprenticeship. And even if you're in year 12 and if you're younger, I'd start looking now so you get a feel of what companies offer apprenticeships, because a lot more companies offer apprenticeships than you think. Some really cool companies as well. Just so you can grasp what companies offer them and when they release them, and sort of what skills you need to put on a CV. So this is your chance, if you see something that you're interested in, to get work experience before you apply to it. Yeah, and my advice would just be, compared to the people that I was in that interview with, I hadn't started my own business, I hadn't started my own YouTube channel, but I had done things like Duke of Edinburgh, just little things like that in school. Like I volunteered to do an art club after school because that was one of my A-levels. So even if it's just little things like that, don't think that that's not good enough. As long as you can talk about it and what skills you learned from it, then that's absolutely fine. The kind of impression I got from the people that were interviewing me and what Google wanted to see, you've got to remember it's an apprenticeship, so they don't need you to know everything. They don't want to hear that you've got the qualification in this, this and this in the field of what you're looking at, because they know that you're young and they know that you probably haven't had them opportunities yet. Obviously it's great if you have, but they know everyone won't be able to do that, so they're here to teach you. They want to know that you have the right attitude, you're proactive and just ready to learn what they want to teach you. It's not all about what's on your CV, so I won't worry about that too much. But yeah, I hope I've helped in this video. That's all the advice that I can think right now, but if you've got any more questions, please do leave them down below, or you can message me on Instagram or anything like that. I'm happy to help, because I really do feel like university is a great opportunity, but there are so many more opportunities out there. Even if it's not an apprenticeship, there's so many things you can do nowadays, and I really don't want people to think that uni is something that you have to do, because it's not, or uni is something you have to do straight out of school, because it's not. Because I'm doing a level 3 apprenticeship for a year and 3 months, I think it is, and I've still got the opportunity to go to university after. So don't rush and think that you have to go to university now if you do want to go either. I wanted to make this video to create more of an awareness about apprenticeships, because I think there's such a good, well, obviously I've not done mine yet, but I think there's such a good opportunity to learn, and it's just a different pathway to university if you don't want to go there or you're not sure. And I really do want to emphasise this and help people that are thinking about it, because when I was applying there really wasn't a lot of information out there, and I just wish I had a video like this to help me while I was looking. So if you do have any questions, again, feel free. I'm open to answering any of them. I would really love to help, and I hope you found this video useful. Let me know by liking the video and commenting down below. If you have any more topics that you're interested in, or anything that you want to know, that you want me to make a video on, just let me know, because I'd love to just give you videos that you want to see. Go check out my channel, see if you're interested in any other videos that I've posted so far. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss the future content that I'll be posting. But thanks for watching the video, and I'll hope to see you in my next one.